Hello YouTube land, it is me Justin King again with another video. We are going to go over an article that is in the subject of dark gothic themes, not goth itself, but gothic themes and horror kind of things, which are all inspired in / related to the gothic subculture. And this article is referencing an actual video or series, but I'm not going over that. I'm just going over what is written. I might do a second bit of that if I can, because I have a weird relationship to horror and creepy things. In the moment, I'll see something and I might get a little scared, but I definitely have my fight and flight take over as soon as I see it. And what I do when I'm scared with scary things is try and solve it, try and fix it, and try and survive it. Since I'm a fixer and I'm a problem solver, I don't jump, I don't scream. I just look at it as I go through. And then instead of being or showing that I'm scared, besides maybe physically jumping, I will have nightmares of it. And those nightmares can last anywhere from just that day till tomorrow to like literally 3 or 4 days in a row. And sometimes that nightmare of that thing I saw will come back months later or a year later, and I'll have to relive that again. I minimize what I ingest horror-wise because of that. I just don't like having things in my consciousness that cause me pain and suffering. That is why I might not review it. But before we get into the actual article, I have 2 announcements I need to make. My first announcement is that unfortunately, subscribers to my channel are not always getting my videos that I put out, and they're not getting the notifications that, hey, they're here, come watch. So the way to fix that is after you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that will turn on any sort of pop-ups saying, hey, just made another video, come to her channel and check it out. The second announcement is that Facebook hides certain people's comments, and as we're going through them, I either can't comment on them because it won't let me type anything in there, or it doesn't show up at all, so I completely missed it. The only way I know to fix that is to just keep commenting in the video below, and eventually I will get to you. I am not ignoring you. So this is an article made on January 8th, 2019, so it's 2 years old. To me, 2 years old in the scheme of things, since the goth subculture started in the 80s, means that it is very fresh, very new. The topic says, Shudder celebrates the history of black horror and quotes horror noir. It says, in the wake of the success of Get Out, Shudder gathers an eclectic collection of creatives and intellectuals to discuss the history and influence of black culture and horror cinema. Then we see an image of people in a movie theater, and it says a history of black horror, and the people that you can see look like they're either have vampire incisions with their teeth. They have maybe little pointy eyes at the edge of their eyelids, maybe hinting at werewolf. We have someone with a little bat that looks menacing. And then we have someone that looks like kind of zombified and werewolfified. And I appreciate that this image is people with all natural hair, the afros, kinky, coily, nappy, lovely hair. The way that I address articles is I do not read every single bit of it. I usually read the first paragraph, and I will often read the last paragraph, but the in-between I will point out things that stand out to me, because I really want you guys to check the link in the description or Also, it's going to be pinned as a comment. It starts out saying, Shudder is about to debut a new documentary titled Horror Noir, A History of Black Horror, according to Entertainment Weekly, based on the book by the same name from author Dr. Robin R. Means Coleman. The feature acts as a celebration as well as a criticism of how black filmmakers have been portrayed since the creation of cinema. Get Out was not the first film to speak to the terror of systematic racism using the horror genre, but it did expose a genre for culturally relevant entertainment from the masses. I know you guys would be like, oh, Justin King, it says it's a documentary, so documentaries can't be scary, which is very wrong. Documentaries can still be scary, and depending on what clips they pick from where they're discussing, that can also be stuck in my consciousness. And question mark, maybe I'll give it a try, and if it's really like too much for me, then I'll stop and just do a quick like 2-minute video of, hey, I tried. I don't know. I'm going to give it some time. Something that looks really interesting is that the article says that this documentary is also going to tackle social issues with the same tenacity that they do body trauma. And if I'm understanding what this author is saying correct about body trauma, is talking about it in relation to how the racism, hate, and violence against this Black and Native American and Mexican, because I'm all three people, or instead of Black, what I've been using lately, descendants of enslaved people, that the pain, the suffering, the deaths, the trauma, the dehumanization that happened, we often is told online that it is transmuted between each generation, and that the pain is actually embedded in our DNA, and that it is real, that even if we didn't go through certain horrors of racism and xenophobia and nationalism, that we can still feel it in our bodies because of that generational transition. Hearing that they would connect that to the horror genre is things that I always think about. Like, I have this cross, and not only the cross is upside down, because it could be right side up, but I wear these in my gothic fashion because here in America, I see crosses as a violent act. I see it as horrific. I see it as grotesque. It's something that was put on my fellow people of enslaved, descendants of enslaved houses, front yards, or places that they work, their cars, etc., and burned. They've been used as a way to take away our culture and force us to learn the Anglo-Saxon culture when we were taken and stolen and put here by their owners. And it's been a symbol that's taken families apart, molested people, etc., etc. So to me, that's a very gothic and a very dark image. I like crosses, not because it's beautiful religious iconography, but I see it as something with a dark history. It'd be interesting to see how this documentary mirrors that transaction of horror between the generations and bringing that to media and film. I have a trailer. Let's see what I would expect.
We've always loved horror. It's just that horror hasn't always loved us.
Black people play a particular role in horror films.
First, we weren't in it. We were played by white people.
Yeah.
We went from maids to pimps and hoes.
If there was somebody Black, they would be the first to die.
Black films hold a mirror up to society, but at the same time give an audience an escape.
Oh my gosh, guys, like, I'm really digging the intellectual bit. If you are a returning person, you know I'm a thinker. I'm really into heady space, philosophy and stuff like that. So I'm kind of intrigued, but I'm also freaked out because some of the images with the big bug-eyed and stuff, I can see them easily creeping into my mind and fucking with it when I try and rest and go to sleep. So I'm like, I'm kind of 50-50. I do so much better when it comes to horror and creepy stuff when I'm looking at people on YouTube reacting to it. Having somebody's image on the actual, like, scary video games. I watched the entire thing of Resident Evil 8. I also watched the video game Dark, if you've heard of that and you're a video gamer and you know what I'm talking about. But those are 2 horror genre video games. And watching that with the people playing it and their reaction to it, I think I didn't even have any nightmares, thank goodness. Knock on wood for that blessing. And I was able to just watch a little bit of it and then go on the rest of my day with other stuff, because I do not consume a lot of this. For me, if I consume a lot of this, then that will lead to nightmares as well. As do it in little portions. I don't know if I could watch this if I don't find someone that like reacted to the entire thing, because I don't know why, but especially the things that creep me out is body modification, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's when horror people disfigure the body. A disfigured face, like bigger eyes, smaller lips, the nose gone, certain ears missing, something like that, scares me. And I think that's because on the psychology side, we learn that one of the first things we start to recognize as we grow up from a baby infant is recognizing faces. I think the fact that our whole society is really based on facial recognition, that when it is played with and tampered, it's horrific because it's not what we've been trained to see. I've even tried to tell myself, like on a mental note, that this is just scary because they mess with what you're expecting to see. They're just playing with what you expected to see, and it doesn't fix it. So, I don't know if I'll do this. I'm going to read this paragraph because it discusses the collection of the people that they will be focusing in there. It says, the documentary contains an exhaustive collection of interview subjects. You will hear from filmmakers William Crane. They connect to Blackula. I've never seen or heard of that. Rusty Cundiff, connected to Tales from the Hood. Ernest Dickinson, connected to Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I didn't know that Tales from the Crypt had a black director. That's pretty cool. There's Tina Marby, Mississippi Damned, another one I don't know. And Jordan Peele, as well as actors Ken Foree from Dawn of the Dead, Paula J. Parka, Tales from the Hood, and Tony Todd, Candyman. Horror Noir is written and produced by Ashley Blackwell and Daniel Burrows. Author Dr. Robin R. Means Coleman. Tana Narividu, Kelly Ryan of Stage 3 Productions, and Fangoria, editor-in-chief Phil Noble Jr. serves as executive producers. It was supposed to hit on February 7th. It's not a huge one, but it's lengthy enough that there's information I didn't go over, and you can look at the link and actually read the entire bit. If you've watched this already and you like Shudder, because I know there are some horror people that just love Shudder and look at every little thing they do, put in the comment section below. Let me know, is it really as scary as I think? Or the images they use, I'll be able to like get over it. What I'm going to do is just do a quick look because we are in 2021, so this should have already come out. So I'm just going to quickly Google the title and see what it turned out to be. It is on Shudder to watch. It is 83 minutes, directed by Xavier Bergen. Looks like you have to have a Shudder account or you can start a free trial. There are some member reviews. All of them are 5 stars. Looks like Rotten Tomatoes gave it 100%. IMDb gave it a 7.6 out of 10. Shudder rated it 4.8 out of 5. 89% of Google users like this movie. It has its own Wikipedia. Gives its own synopsis, which I will not read because, again, just like other YouTubers, I want you to actually look at the content that the people take the time to make, create, edit, clean up, and do ads and all the promos for. But if you are someone that is afraid like I can be, maybe going on the Wikipedia and reading the synopsis will calm you down. But yeah, it looks like this was on and poppin'. That was the article explaining it. I would again love in the comment section below if you've seen it, what your thoughts are. And until next time, this is me, Justin King. I'll talk to you later. Bye, YouTube land.